Hey everybody, Pastor James here. I hope you're having a great start to your week. I glanced at the calendar this morning and I figured out that it was December the 7th. So not only is December progressing, but when I looked at that date, a memory came to mind for me. I thought back to my childhood because this date has some significance for me. I was talking to my grandfather one day, very early on in my life, but I still remember this conversation pretty clearly. It was December the 7th, and my grandfather, who had joined the Army Air Force at that time, was stationed in Oakland, California on December the 7th, 1941. And I heard his story about where he was that day, about how it was a very calm Sunday, and then his very stern-faced commanding officer came in to where he and some of his buddies were and said, "Gentlemen, we are at war." And they got the news about Pearl Harbor. So I not only say that because it has some emotional connection to me and actually to our country, but I say that because I heard on the news this weekend that there were some doctors and nurses and people all over the country that are saying that this pandemic, and especially the surge that we're going through right now, is one of the gravest times of history for the United States that we've experienced in some time, and some have even likened it to World War II. And I began to think about those statements because what are our responsibilities as Christians and believers in times like these? What do we have a responsibility to do, and to whom do we have a responsibility to serve in times like these? So I thought about my grandfather, and I thought about people today who volunteer and go to the front lines of where the action really is. We talked about that yesterday a little bit in the sermon. We go to where the action is to help people and to heal people. That's part of our responsibility, that we go into the battle to do work for the Lord. Another thing that I thought about as our responsibility is the responsibility that we take to love each other. How do we responsibly love one another? Well, we've obviously here at church, we've set about some protocols for protecting each other, but I just want to remind us that during this very difficult time, one of the best things that we can do responsibly is to continue to keep those protocols in place and ensure that as we experience and involved in the experiences of dealing with people who have loved ones who are coping with COVID-19 and some who are actually passing away because of complications of COVID-19, that we love on them and that we show value for all people during this time. You know, I reminded our church even yesterday about how impressed I am and how proud I am of you for taking care of each other. That's really what responsibility is when it comes right down to it. It's taking care of each other. It's doing the right thing and doing so in a way that relates to other people. You know, another person out there, they're not just an object. You know, it's not a I and an it. It's you and me. And we want to be people who are you and me people, and we're in this together. So as we remember this Pearl Harbor Day and the great sacrifices that previous generations have taken to ensure our well-being and to ensure the protection of people that they even may disagree with politically, religiously, or otherwise, that we are people who are in this together. And I would urge you today on this Monday to take very seriously the responsibility that we have to each other to care and love one another and get into the fray and walk as Jesus walked. I hope you have a great Monday, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.